Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss books and horror. And today I'm here to bring you a sneak peek into the horror that awaits for us in the year 2024.
It's coffee time.
It is crazy to me that we are about to change years again. It's just wild how quickly this year went. I'm preparing some videos for the end of the year, like some of my favorite books that I read in 2023, the goals for the channel and my reading for next year, all of those good things. But today I thought I would sit down and bring you 12 books that are coming out in 2024 that I am excited about. There are still many books that we can get excited about that still need to be announced, but I decided to put a list together of 12 books that I know already for sure that are coming out in 2024 that are on my list. You Wouldn't Catch Me Dead by Tess James Mackey, and this one is one that I'm really excited about because I did read the author's previous book called Someone Is Watching You, and it was one of those YAs that I really ended up loving in 2023, and it caught me a little bit off guard that I was going to enjoy that one so much. I picked it up because I just saw it recommended to me, and I had not heard anybody talking about it, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm really excited to see, you know, what the author is bringing us in her new book. The tagline says, "The only thing worse than to be lost is to be found." So exciting. Keely's plan at her new school is basically to go through school without being noticed, and she needs a lot of extra credit and things for her plans for going to college, and so she is joining a club at school that decide to camp in the Welsh wilderness. And she is trying just to go through everything without being noticed and just, you know, do her own thing. And of course, things are not going to go as planned, and soon the fellow explorers that are camping with her are going to go missing one by one. Something's coming for her. Will she be able to stop it before it's too late? Signed, sealed, Dead by Cynthia Murphy. I have already pre-ordered this book. I pre-ordered it a long time ago because you guys know I'm gonna read everything that she writes, and I am so excited that we're already getting a new book by her. It just seems like yesterday that The Midnight Man came out. I think it came out January 2023, and it's been one of my favorite reads this year. We follow Paige, who is obsessed with true crime. I mean, what better theme to give to me? This might be potentially my new favorites by Cynthia, because you guys know I love true crime. So Paige loves true crime, and her family decides to relocate to her father's hometown, and when they get there she starts digging deeper into the history and the background of the place, and she realizes that there are some mysterious deaths that happened during the 90s, and apparently there's a lot of unsolved cases of murders and people that disappeared, and as Paige starts to dig deeper, she's gonna find clues to one of the girls that disappeared back in the 90s. So I'm just here for it. I mean, I'm just calling it, but this might be one of my favorites of next year already. Definitely one that I cannot wait to read. You Like It Darker by Stephen King. This is very short to explain. It's a compilation of short horror stories. I have pre-ordered this one from Waterstones because they had a good deal on the special edition. So I have pre-ordered this one from Waterstones, and hopefully it will get here on time for me to dive into the short horror stories. I think his last story compilation was If It Bleeds, which was several years back. So I'm excited to see what else he has to offer. And honestly, after the disappointment that Holy was for me, I will talk more in depth about it on my wrap up for the month of December. You can read already my spoiler-free review on Goodreads, but I will dive deeper into it on my wrap up. But it was a big disappointment for me, and it had nothing to do with the story or the characters per se. It's other things. So I'm hoping, you know, that the new release is gonna remove that sour taste from my mouth. Murder Road by Simone St. James is another one that I'm super excited about. Simone St. James is an author that I really enjoy, but I understand that her books are not for everybody. She normally works a thriller mystery with some horror splash in there, and it's mostly timelines that are told from two different perspectives, two different characters the majority of the time, and also different years. So there's different POVs in different time periods, and I know that doesn't work for a lot of people, but it really works well for me, especially in her stories, and I'm really excited for her new book. What can I say? July 1995, and we have a couple of newlyweds that are driving to a cozy small town where they are planning to spend their honeymoon, and then they see someone that is hitchhiking at the side of the road, and obviously they decide to stop and take this person. Like, that's exactly what you're not supposed to do in every horror movie you've ever seen, but here we are again. I mean, it was the 90s, I guess people were more trusty back in the day, so it kind of makes sense. And when the hitchhiker gets into their car, they realize that there seems to be blood in his clothing. Good job, guys. Also, the small town that they're driving to apparently is the home of a lot of unexplained murders. So I'm really excited. Anything that is, you know, a murder going on a murdering spree, I'm here for it. The synopsis does not mention any other year, but I'm guessing that there's going to be probably a lot of flashbacks to back when these murders started or something like that, and that's where we're gonna get like a dual timeline. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's, you know, it's kind of the author's kind of pattern so far, but either way, I'm really excited. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I am a newly fan of Holly Jackson. I gotta admit, I had not read her books until 2023, and now I'm a converted. I absolutely loved Five Survive, and I am going to binge the Good Girls to Murder trilogy at the beginning of 2024. And I just cannot wait for that. In this new horror mystery thriller, we follow an 18-year-old girl called Belle, and she's still hunted by the disappearance of her mom. Her mom disappeared years ago, and she was a witness to the disappearance, but unfortunately there is not much that she can remember. I mean, that happened 16 years ago, so obviously she was really small and she had no recollection of what happened, but still memories in the back of her head are still kind of haunting her. But now the family has agreed to do a documentary on the case and on the disappearance of Rachel Price, but the weird thing is that actually Rachel has just reappeared. I'm really excited about this one. It offers a family dynamic, which is something that I don't know if she has done before, because I'm not sure how much of a family dynamic you have in Good Girls Guide to Murder, but in Five Survive it was more about the relationship with your friends and who you can trust from your group of friends. I feel like this is more about family and who you can trust and who is really your family, so I'm really excited to see that. This Skin Was Once Mine and Other Disturbances by Eric LaRocca, and these are 4 new stories by Eric. You guys know I really enjoy his writing. I think he is bringing something really new to the horror genre, and honestly I understand it's also not an author that works for everybody, but I think we need all types of horror, and I'm so glad that I discovered Eric when I did, when he was just starting. And you know, I was able to read his very first short stories, and since then, you know, he's captivated me. But his stories are very disturbing, they're very bizarre, and it's something that you have to be open for. And also there is a lot of quite disgusting scenes, and it's not just all about the gore, but in general the stories are very intense, so it's not something that I would recommend for newbies when it comes to horror. The Black Girl survives in this one, and this is a compilation of stories that are edited by Desiree S. events. This is to celebrate Black writers in horror and especially female writers in horror. And so they're bringing a lot of stories about just that. Women in horror, basically, or girls that get to survive the horror movie. I'm really excited for this one. I love the title and I cannot wait to read some horror stories that hopefully have some very strong Black leading female characters. The Gathering by C.J. Tudor, and this one I'm also extremely excited about. This is another author that I started to reading from the very beginning when she released The Chalkman. I tried that one out, enjoyed it, and I have been enjoying her books more and more. I really feel like she's getting better and better. My favorite one, I think it's still The Other People. I do want to do a ranking on her books, so maybe I'll wait until I read The Gathering and then do the ranking, because I have read all her books so far. And this one I have also pre-ordered from Waterstones because they had a signed copy for pre-order, and I don't have any of her books signed, and I really enjoy her as a writer, and I have the feeling that this one might potentially be one of my favorites. So I have pre-ordered it from Waterstones, signed, and hopefully also will come on time. It is about an Alaskan town, a missing boy, and a brutal murder. A detective from out of state is brought in to investigate a crime that is very similar to another one that he already investigated 25 years ago. The thing is, they don't know exactly what kind of psychopath or what kind of person is behind these crimes, and that is what we, the audience, need to figure out. I'm not going to tell you more about it. For me, it has been not spoiled, but I know what kind of evil we're dealing with in this book, and that is why I'm really excited to read it. But I'm not going to tell you guys in case you don't want to know. But I'm really excited for this. That's all I can tell you, and I just can't wait. The Only Light Left Burning by Eric J. Brown, and this is the sequel to All That's Left in the World. And I'm so excited. I'm ready for this book to absolutely wreck me, emotionally destroy me, make me probably laugh and cry and giggle and all at the same time. All That's Left in the World, the first book, is about two teenage boys that find themselves in a world after a pandemic that has eradicated the majority of population, and they don't know who they can trust. They are just teenagers, and they are also discovering their own feelings, their own sexuality, and they have to fight with people outside that are dangerous because, as you guys probably assume, in something that will leave us in a post-apocalyptic world, the majority of the time it doesn't matter if we're dealing with a virus, with creatures, with whatever it is. The majority of times humans are still our worst enemy, which is very sad but also very true. And so they're navigating through this new world order. Everything has been taken from them, you know, no electricity, barely any food left, and they're also trying to understand the feelings they are developing for each other, and it's so cute and adorable, and I loved it. But it's also brutal and it's also bloody, and I just loved it. It's exactly like The Walking Dead but for queer teenagers, and it's just wonderful. So I'm really excited for the sequel, even though I'm hoping it's not going to absolutely tear me apart. Here's to hope. Moving on to Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. We follow Willow. She is a star on a sitcom, but after she posted some things on Twitter that kind of backfired, she has been cancelled, which is one of her worst fears, and so her team sends her to a camp where she's supposed, I guess, to be rehabilitated for people that have been cancelled. I already love this concept. It's very modern, truly something that resonates with the reality that we're living in nowadays. And also the camp is called Castaway Camp. I love that name. So it's basically a place where people that have posted the wrong things on social media and have been cancelled, or, you know, people that need to redeem themselves after something that they have said or done and got public, they go there to try to work on it, which I think is really fun. And basically when they're in this camp, people start vanishing. So obviously We don't know if it's a person, if it's something supernatural, if it's a creature, but these people are vanishing. And I'm really excited for this book. I really enjoyed Burn the Negative, which was Joss's book for 2023. So yeah, this is another one that I definitely have on my list. Next we have I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. What I love about this one is that we are in Texas in 1989 and the author is kind of giving us a peek into what it was back in the day to be an outsider. And this is a slasher story that it is told from the perspective of the killer, and I'm here for it. I'm hoping this has all the slasher vibes of movies from the 90s. For some reason, when I hear Texas and killer, I have to think, of course, of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's not, I mean, it is a slasher, but it is more than that. It's not just your classic Scream slasher type of film. And I don't know what to expect from this one, but the author has a lot of talent when it comes to horror, so I'm really excited. Under the Surface by Deanna Urban, and I love the concept for this one because it is about someone that gets lost for days in the Paris catacombs, and I have never had the pleasure to go there, but I know people that have been there and they say it's really claustrophobic. So I'm hoping that this book is gonna give me all the, you know, all the thrills, because if there's something that I find horrifying, is really tight spaces and feeling locked in somewhere and not knowing if I was gonna be able to get out. That is why I find also deep water, like undersea horror, really effective for me, or people that are trapped on the water. Same goes for catacombs and really tiny spaces where rocks might fall and you might get, you know, buried alive. No thank you. Obviously this reminds me of things like As Above So Below, which if you like me are claustrophobic, watch that movie, you'll have the time of your life. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's for me, those are the hard ones to watch, movies that are in really tight spaces like that, just because it's one of my fears. I don't have many things that I feel like scare me per se, but I definitely would not like to die buried alive or in a trapped in a tight space without being able to go out of there and just die. That's just horrifying to me. Those were, you guys, 12 books that are coming out in 2024 that I am already excited about. I hope that you enjoyed this list. Let me know down below if there's any other books that are coming out in 2024 that you already have on your list, or maybe you've already pre-ordered as well. Let's talk about it in the comments. So there is a lot of things to look forward to in 2024. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!